Hello guys, welcome back to The Fire Rises, the mod that for some reason had a full-blown civil war in its Discord, which has cooled down now that the devs are back in charge of this mod. This mod recently got updated too, with France as the main focus, so that is the country we're going to be playing today. We of course got Emmanuel Macron, alright?
We do not want a world war. However...
Anyway, it gives us stability and political power gain. France in 2020 was not exactly a nice place to live, not that it was ever a nice place to live. The policy of mass migration has sparked political division among the public. Coupled with economic instability, the Yellow Vest protests are well underway, which have been going on for 2 years now. With violence between the public and the police regularly breaking out, this is all before COVID lockdowns start. And the ENA has been accused for harbouring elitism as only 6% of its graduates are from working class backgrounds, where the graduates would go on to be placed in powerful positions in the country. Right, yeah, army is 38k, that's tiny. We don't have any divisions anywhere else, do we? Where is he? Oh! That's right, we have, French Guiana. Or what do you call this? French, I don't even know, what do you call this? Alright, we own it. Anyway, I gotta try to understand the combat system again. What are these divisions? They're just 1 battalion special forces, but their stats are actually good, like 70 organization per battalion. What? After I finished organizing all of my military factories, the Yellow Vest protests would stop, but this would be the calm before the storm because it's about to get a whole lot worse. We have an election in 2022, even though it's 2020 now, I get to decide as who I want to run as. There's 2 options. Obviously, we can stay as Macron, which is what happened historically, or we could choose Le Pen, who is on the right, and actually in real life, she was convicted of embezzlement just in 2025, so she's actually disqualified from French politics. And who better to run the country than someone who is disqualified from politics? We're gonna go against Macron. Goodbye. Alright, look to Le Pen. I'm probably saying her name wrong. It's probably like Le Pen or something, but like, be quiet, okay? I don't care. Let's do immigration regulation immediately. And the COVID has already come to France. Lovely. Among all this, we have to keep the military happy. This decision tab where I have generals that are happy and unhappy with the regime, I have to try and keep them happy. Alright, well, I got a lot of work to do and a lot of political power to save up, apparently, because it's going to take a lot. Remember how I said the protests were over? Well, they're back. That didn't last long, did it? Hey you, I hope you're ready for what's coming. Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Oh no, the Yellow Vests strike again. The worst timing. New focuses. And at this point, I was completely overwhelmed by my focus tree. I had the political branch, which I had to get done by 2022. I got the COVID-19 branch to get rid of COVID. Then I've now got this Yellow Vest protest branch, along with the army branch that I have to do. And I think there's an economy branch I as well have to... I've just got... Yeah, I'm going to stop focusing on this tree for a bit. I actually want to deal with this Yellow Vest protest. I think we should go to the negotiation table. What is bending the knee? Alright, negotiations are being held with the Yellow Vests. Let's hope for the best. 60% chance they agree, 40% chance they say no. Knowing my luck, I would get the 40%. 40% isn't even that low though, so I wouldn't be surprised. The Yellow Vests leave. Are you joking? Frick you too then. Alright, divide and conquer. That's fun. Okay, so we have to do this and work with the unions then. I also had some political power to spare, so I decided to change up a guy in my government. Okay, so I have 155 political power. I can change one of these guys up. Probably get rid of the socialist guy. That would be a start. I might change to, a centrist who gives stability. That is exactly what we need right now. I also started the COVID-19 branch of my focus tree, so I could distribute masks and hopefully lessen the impact of the virus. Then, out of nowhere, we got this event for darker colours on our flag. Dark colours for a darker age. Macron has sat in his office in Paris. It was a beautifully bright day. He stared intensely at the flag in the distance. It should be darker. I would like it to be darker. There we go, darker flag. Is that real? Did this actually happen? Alright, working with the unions done. Yellow Vest protests should be... Nope, that's still going to be there for a bit, but at least we have 29% stability now. And if you don't think that the Yellow Vest protests and COVID-19 was enough, then now we're getting terrorist attacks in Nice. Now followed by a fresh set of protests called the anti-Islamist protests, which increases right-wing popularity. Right-wing popularity skyrockets from that. There's Saudi Arabia. Don't I have 25 billion to do this? Why don't I have money? It's because of the oil crisis and now... Well, it's because of COVID and now the oil crisis. I'm never going to have liquidity. We could actually influence the Saudi Arabian civil war. I decided to support the original government, the House of Saud, for stability, and also we could send volunteers. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia are getting volunteers from UK, South Korea, and then the Republic are getting from Germany and pretty much every other country in NATO. I kind of want to change my laws up. We can go civilian economy. And with that, this chaotic year would come to an end, but this would only be just the beginning. Now, I'm not sure where I'm getting all this war support from, but I can keep increasing my mobilization. Early mode now. Actually, yeah, let's just keep increasing our mobilization slowly. After enforcing vaccine mandates, COVID-19 would also come to an end. Alright, COVID is dealt with. Done. I'm not dealing with France on the world stage, so it's just this great game thing that's really important. I then managed to switch my economy to partial mob, even further mobilizing my economy, and then we got rumors in the military, and the generals were apparently not happy with me, even though the majority of them were. This event gave us a 50% chance that Macron would become military prey, losing war support, product efficiency, and construction speed for military factories. And knowing my luck, guess what we got? Cool. And yep, he got it, of course. 50% chance and I lose it. He is now military prey. Venezuela says yes. Oi, 29th of... Oh, it's gonna go. It's gonna go in like a few days. This was in reference to the oil crisis. I managed to secure some deal with Venezuela where I get oil from them, and now there isn't really one for me. Alright, let's do this Operation Elephant. Our door to West Africa will give us more decisions in the Decisions tab. We have like an option to influence the wars in West Africa, but it's not really that important. It doesn't have an overall effect on the game that much, so I kind of just ignore. However, there is a more important event to do with the French generals. They are demanding concessions, and I have two options. I can say Le Pen promises post-election concessions, or I could deny them. Now, I wanted to win the First European War, so I gave them their post-election concessions, but I wonder what would happen if I didn't. There's a lot of content for France, so I'll definitely be coming back to this country in this mod. Oh my gosh, the death of Wall Street. Alright, another financial crisis, another crisis in the world. But look at this, we got 23 now. I mean, that's better than before. Out of nowhere, my war support dropped, and suddenly everyone wanted to demobilize my economy, and I was worried. Although it was a great incentive for me to start my military tree. Shortly after, the Second American Civil War began. Okay, it's the Second American... Okay, the game's gonna slow down now. The future of NATO. Okay, this is also where we can become the leader of NATO. However, this NATO event became very interesting because an option popped up for us to leave. Not leave straight away, but the option was like announce the preparation to leave or something. We can withdraw from NATO? What happens if we do? Now, I was really tempted to click it to see what would happen, so I did. I'm gonna withdraw from NATO. I actually want to see what happens when we do. Now, I'm not sure if I did something wrong or what the game was doing, but I never left NATO. There was no option for me to leave. I just announced plans that I would leave and then never do it. Like every politician ever, I guess. TFR devs, you want your accurate LARP? There it is. Oh, the leadership election is about to begin. Well, I'm leaving, so... Next year would be time for the election. And we've already decided that Macron is leaving and Le Pen is coming in. Announcement time. I have a new channel where my intros have been turned into full-length documentaries. Here is a 37 clip of the kind of content that I'm going to be putting out. If you enjoy it, the channel is linked in the description. It's the 1st of April 2001. Milosevic is hiding in his Belgrade home with gunfire raging outside. Just hours earlier, the police arrived with an arrest warrant for Milosevic, but as they did, his bodyguards forced them into a standoff. Milosevic, hiding in his villa, said that he would not be taken to prison alive. The following is the audio from the news coverage of the events that unfolded that day.
When the police tried to confront Milosevic in the wee hours of this morning,
That is a clip of a 17-minute long video, so I highly suggest you watch it. Anyway, let's get straight back to the video. Now, the far right had been rising in our country, and naturally, I did everything I could to preserve that. Liberal establishment will see. Yes, the RN is at 27 popularity. That's pretty... Yeah, it's the most popular. You know, I haven't really brought it up, but my volunteer is still in Saudi Arabia. He's like holding out in Ryder. It's hilarious. My guy is still here. Can I recall him? I want him to come back. Unfortunately, he was stuck there, and it's very likely that they're gonna die. Putin died. And they're in the middle of the Kazakhstan invasion. Alright, so we'll see what happens with Russia. Corsica unrest. Corsica's no longer a core? What are you talking about? You know, I'm sick of them, so I just install martial law in Corsica at this point. I don't care. All right, the election of 2022, Le Pen by a landslide. RN becomes the ruling party. New focuses. French Republic completes focus on behalf of the people. Here we go. Why are these... Okay, I'm actually going to declare martial law. This is ridiculous. Corsica, you need to calm down. In Russia, Medvedev won the elections, so that means the United Russia Party is going to stay in power, and in the event we lose, we're going to reform the EU. At the same time, the United Kingdom took over leadership of NATO. It could have been me, but I announced plans to leave, but then never actually do it for some reason. And the year ended with the Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Now, 2023 began with a rebranding of our party. We went from far right to centre, now forming a coalition with a bunch of people in the centre, so it looks like we're sticking with NATO and committing to the First European War against Russia. Oh, who's in charge of the... Wait, is that the AFD? The AFD is in charge of Germany. Well, I guess everyone's going right-wing this game, then fine. What? France united. Le Pen meets with opposition leaders and military analysis. Cool. There it is, the government was announced. New coalitions. I found myself with a bunch of political power now that our country was somewhat stable and we had a coalition, so I used it wisely. And by that, I mean reducing workers' rights, and then actually I did something good. I increased draft exemptions for education. A new far-right party got formed between these two guys, and I tried to pick the one that increased the fascist support to see how far right I can go, but it didn't really do anything. Oh look, I can give arms now to these countries like Poland and that. I give them all weapons, because apparently I'm the only one who's capable of producing a good military. By the time the European war starts, I'm going to have a pretty sizable army, nowhere near the next biggest one, which is Poland. Poland will be half the size of my army by the time the European war starts. I don't know what Germany or Britain are doing, they should have a big army, right? Germany proposes a European army. And guess what we say to that? No. I continued to build military factories, trying to strengthen my army as much as I could before the big war. Oh! France leaves NATO integrated command structure. The French government has announced a strategic decision to withdraw from the NATO integrated command. You know, come to think of it, if I want to win this war, it's probably not the smartest idea to leave NATO command structures and try and leave all this NATO stuff. We should be unified to win, right? So instead, I've just made things a whole lot harder for myself. Great. Right now, our army is 150k, but in 2 years, it'll grow to 500,000. So for the next 2 years, it would be just that, working on my army, building it up, and waiting for Russia to invade Ukraine. Alright, we can actually get through, we can put our military through like fierce training program, and they take longer to train, maybe just advanced then. Okay, we'll just do advanced for now. I don't want the training to take too long, so that'll definitely go up when we fight Russia. In the meantime, Belgium split apart, and we got Wallonia for free, so that wasn't too bad. Oh my god, she died. The principal founder of National Rally and National Front, and father to... Oh no, the guy. Okay, her father. All right. I thought our leader died for a sec, and then I was like, why is there a picture of an old guy there? But no, her father died. Cool event, I guess. Doesn't really impact the game. We have the biggest army, I think, in Europe, in NATO. Not Europe. In NATO, though, we have the biggest army, 43 divisions, and deployed manpower is 350k compared to everyone else barely even making it to 100k. Poland. To finish off 2025, Belarus unified with Russia, and next year, the First European War would begin. Medvedev has given a speech. He is bashing globalists, EU lapdogs. My army alone is half the size of the Russian army, so with NATO combined, we have a pretty good force against them. So I began organizing my army, but I didn't realize that at the time, this war against Russia was going to be a lot harder than I thought. Russia recognizes the Donbass republics. About to go in on Ukraine, but I'm ready. Also, I thought, no, I was not ready for the sheer onslaught that was about to occur. There it is, Russia invades Ukraine. Alright. That is going to be us in the war very, very soon. Now, I'm not 100% sure if we can, like, send volunteers and stuff. We can, but there would be no point, because before I knew it, NATO would be at war. Skirmishes at the Polish-Belarusian border. European war. War breaks out in Europe. Now, most of my army was in the Baltics and Ukraine. I was trying to make sure that neither of them would fall. However, my allies were just pushing into Belarus because there were no Russians there at that time. So I took them off the defensive line and decided to join the push. Holding on to Kiev. We are holding on to Kiev. Now, with Russia, the longer that this war goes on for, the weaker they get. So it is in my best interest to keep as many countries alive as possible. Do not let them get any morale. Okay, my planes are actually engaging the Russian Air Force now. This is good. However, this was easier said than done, because soon enough I found myself encircled in Kiev. God, we're gonna get encircled! Dude, this is so much of my army, I can't afford this. I can't let this happen. Unfortunately, the Russians had other ideas, and 33 of my divisions were stuck in Kiev. This is not good. I may have gotten a very large part of my army encircled trying to defend Kiev. There's 26 of them in there. There's 26. Russian army storms over Vilnius. That's great. That's great. I'm training more. I have to. Please don't be out of equipment. I'm down mechanized. Oh. And once that Russian army gets moving, it ain't stopping. They stormed over Vilnius, Poland, Ukraine, Romania, and the war was over just like that. I actually captured Kiev. All of my guys died. They're just blasting through Romania. That's fun. Death toll reaches 30,000. Add war exhaustion. 18 divisions are left. They're about to take Budapest. There it is. It's over. We lost. I was not content with this. When I see a challenge in this game, I would like to overcome it. Now, I'm not going to go and do the Second European War. No, I'm going to commit to this and win the First European War as NATO. No matter how many attempts it would take a lot. Now in this attempt, I noticed something different. There is a mission called Operation Davut in the European War Decision tab, which highlights cities in the Caucasus that we need to take control of. Now, I didn't realize this, but it was part of our focus tree, meaning that if we gain control of those cities, we get to continue down our tree and get bonuses. So on my next attempt, I tried a naval invasion through the Black Sea into the Caucasus to see if this would actually work. Surprisingly, we landed unopposed, and I began spreading out immediately. However, this invasion has limited my ability to defend Ukraine on the Baltics, so things were not looking good on the main front. The two cities in the actual Caucasus were easy to take, however Kerch in Crimea was a lot harder. They already had divisions there, so I couldn't naval invade, and trying to cross the strait into Crimea was even harder. Nah, I had to do it again. This isn't work. I gotta... There's a way to do this. This time I set up a bunch more invasions. I mean, look at all that going into all Kerch, all the way down to pretty much Georgia. What? How many divisions they got there? They predicted this. It's like they predicted this. However, for some reason in this run, it's like they had learned from previous attempts, and now there are a lot more divisions there. However, I managed to land near Georgia, but this also meant that I had to commit the majority of my army to this invasion, and I got a debuff saying that I had a national disgrace because I wasn't committing to the main front. So then that fell apart immediately, and now I don't know what to do. Alright, we're back for, I don't know what number attempt this is, but I have actually made Marines. They're not fully trained, okay, I'll give it that, but they're Marines, and maybe this will give us a better chance. Newsflash, nope, that didn't change a thing. However, I did experiment with some ideas on the main front, and that was pushing immediately when Russia declares war on us, specifically in Belarus, and I found that I could get really good air superiority in the region. Exclude Ukraine, we've taken less casualties. However, it didn't last long when the Russians got their army there and we started stalling. I do not want them to open up this encirclement, so get into there right. Oh my god! I was like, I do not want them to open up this. What happens? What happens? They immediately open it up. God. It was at like 65. Oh my god, my game crashed. I'm sick of this. I'm actually sick of it. At this point, I had to go take a break. This was way too much for me. I would come back the next day. This will be my last attempt. Okay, one, it was not my last attempt. I don't know why I just straight up lied like that. Anyway, I got tip of the spear and I researched better naval invasion capacity. So now I have 18 divisions to go into the Caucasus. And this time, I was so confident that this had to work. I mean, like, pretty much a whole army here is going in. However, there is one issue. Capturing the Caucasus doesn't mean anything, okay? The idea behind this was to relieve pressure on the main front, but it didn't. And me invading would also relieve pressure for the Russians, because I'm not there, so it just doesn't do anything. The fact that they've taken, like, all of this is so dumb. And I couldn't save them, so my next run, I would abandon it. Unfortunately, my next run would be my final one, because it was actually successful. What do we know? First, what do we know? We know that this invasion is not going to work. This is just not going to... No. I'm not invading the Caucasus. I don't know why they want me to do that. The Russians know. They just know I'm there. We also know that Ukraine will fall if we do not commit to its defense. So I have to do that. We know that we can get green air over Belarus and absolutely destroy them in Belarus, capturing Minsk and potentially even encircling in northern Ukraine. We got Johnny English. We chuck him in Belarus. Now that I've got Johnny English as a spy in Belarus on my side, there is no way that my plan will fail. As soon as I got called in, I rushed down into Belarus, encircling Minsk within seconds, with the aim of trying to get to Kiev from the north and encircle the entire Russian army on the border with Poland and northern Ukraine. After enough pushing with green air, I managed to pull off some form of encirclement. It wasn't exactly what I hoped for, but it would be a good start. Is there no way we can put... Oh, that's so weak. That is... Oh, this is possible encirclement right here. No, why would you do that? Here we go. Yes, another encirclement. That's perfect. If we can keep pulling off these encirclements, we will bring the Russian army down to our manpower level, which will make it easier to defend every country, dragging the war out for longer and then weakening the Russians even more. After finishing up my 2 encirclements, we had essentially taken all of Belarus, so I had one army to hold Ukraine and the other army to go up to the Baltics to liberate Latvia and Estonia, where they had obviously taken some divisions from, because after encircling Riga, the front was completely open. Unfortunately, we lost Kiev in Ukraine, but as long as we hold the west, it should be okay. Beautiful. What's their casualties? 248k. We're doing stuff. We've only taken 50k. We're doing it. We're actually doing it, guys. Oh my god. Can I pull off this encirclement? They beat Moldova. Does that really matter? Well, after Moldova is Romania, and I'm hoping that they can hold out in those Carpathian mountains. But you never know in this game, so we'll find out. Or that. But we can't get those if we don't get this. We don't have failed Operation Davut, and I should have failed it because I haven't done it. Yeah, this Operation Davao thing was kind of broken because it didn't register as it being failed when I didn't even try it. Or when I did try it and failed, it didn't register as a failed. And you're supposed to be able to continue down your focus tree, but it wouldn't let me. The war in the southern part of the front is a complete stalemate. I'm not touching that. So I decided to try and exploit the north some more and try and push to St. Petersburg. That'll cut off the Baltics. So actually, whoa, they got there quick. Unfortunately, I couldn't reach the Baltic Sea, but it was enough to liberate Latvia and potentially Estonia. The fact that we actually have to fight against Estonian divisions is completely, like, unrealistic. We would not have to fight against Estonians. This, like, unless they're like, how many? There are no. What pro-Russians are in Estonia? Oh my god, this encirclement would be insane. Please. Yes. Oh my god, that's so nice. Look at all that. Oh, they're actually breaking through here now. Okay, that's a problem. I'm just going to leave this encirclement here with you guys. Mind you, I have supremacy in the Baltic Sea, so any convoys that are escaping are getting sunk. And in the meantime, I continue to push to St. Petersburg. Hopefully we would capture the city soon. I'm going to capitulate. What's Ukraine's capitulate? Okay, no, Romania is closer. I don't care if Bulgaria capitulates or Greece. They're taking back Belarus. This war has gone on for like a while, and Russia is still stronger than NATO, because my NATO allies are pathetic. So now I had to bring my army down and go help out Poland again. I actually pushed quite far into Ukraine too. Of course, my divisions have the yellow exclamation mark and refuse to move. They've just defeated Romania. That's not good. I had to go deal with this immediately, so goodbye to my divisions on the northern front. All of my progress there is now gone. I have to go help out defeat Romania and Transylvania. Ukraine is 98% towards capitulation. Nice. Yep, I moved my divisions away and look what happens. Some of them even get encircled. Some of them obviously died. Fortunately, I could use the Serbian border as like an encirclement against the divisions that did push into Hungary. I'm now beginning to take some casualties. I don't know where Russia's got this second win from, but they've capitulated Ukraine, Lithuania, Latvia again, obviously Estonia, and they're nearly into Warsaw. This will be the encirclement to do it, for sure, where Russia gets a lot weaker. For sure, this will be the encirclement. You know, there might be some truth to that statement, considering I had encircled that, and then there was no divisions on the Romanian border, really. Why are there no... Oh, hang on. Oh, dude, what the hell? Most of their army is here. Wait. If I can get to the Serbian border on this side, that would be actually crazy. And I did it, but then the dumbest glitch in the game just happened. I capitulated Transylvania, and then all of the land went to the enemy Romania. What the hell is that? And why is it a puppet of Romania? Now we lost all of that land that we gained. This wasn't great, but it was still true that Russia could not push me back, and the war was in a stalemate. And the longer that it goes on for, the weaker Russia gets with this national spirit, and I had a look at it. And they're starting to get debuffs. The harder it will be for the Russians to fight. Yeah, oh, hang on, no, it's going down to 10%. Ooh. 10% now, okay. This will be the successful run. I can feel it. I just have to wait. A stupid amount of time. What the hell? How did Bulgaria capitulate? When did this happen? Suddenly, yeah, Bulgaria capitulated to Germany and we had a new front in Romania. Let's get rid of this Moldovan thing. I hate it. It's been a pain in my ass for the whole game. We ended up getting Odessa, and the Russians had to then shift a lot of their army to defend this. Meanwhile, I deployed a bunch more divisions, so things were on the up again. By now, Russia's debuff was around 20%, and we could easily, well not easily, but we could push through their divisions and break their front line. Not for too long. They're at negative 20% attack and defense now. That's really hurting them. From here on in, it wasn't too bad. We had survived the worst of it, and we could push through them pretty easily. And before I knew it, we had done it. We had won the First European War, even getting really close to Moscow. NATO victorious in Europe. Oh, we won. Wow. Ukraine is now a part of NATO, gaining control of Crimea and Sevastopol, while Russia lost all of its lands in the Caucasus. Zelensky with glasses. He's happy. Wow. Belarus is independent. Of course they're independent. UN Trust Territory of Kaliningrad. And there it is. Now I could play on from here and do the Second European War, fighting against whatever happens to Russia. However, I was far too tired to do that, okay? This was really draining to do, and I'll do a Second European War video another time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.